morning, everyone. You will remember that last week we left the story with the Red Sea stopping all of Pharaoh's men and chariots, and the Israelites were safe on the other shore. They were singing and dancing, as you will remember. But finally, after a few days, it was time to get on their way. They traveled for about 3 days, and suddenly they were very thirsty and very hungry. They got very upset and yelled at Moses, "What did you bring us out here for? Now we're so thirsty, so hungry, we're going to die." Suddenly, there were about 2 million people actually. Suddenly, Moses was told by God to strike the water with the stick he was carrying. And the water in the pools, which beforehand had been very stagnant, with yucky water in them, became cool and clear and beautiful water to drink. The Lord had taken care of them again. Next, they came upon a lovely place with palm trees that would provide them shade. They set up camp. Once again, the Lord had provided for them. Soon it was time to break camp from that lovely area and travel on. Before long, the people were complaining again. They didn't like the hot sun. They didn't like the lack of food. The babies cried, the women moaned, and the men grumbled. When they had been out in the desert for about 2 months, they ran out of food. Again, they yelled at Moses, "What have you done? There's nothing out here. It's all your fault." Moses said yet again, "Remember that God promised to take care of you." Then the Lord spoke to Moses, "I will give the people bread in the morning and meat in the evenings. They must learn to trust in me." The next morning, the ground was wet with tiny drops of dew. When the sun dried the dew, the people saw small white flakes of bread resting on the ground. So they had their bread. And in the evening, a flock of quail birds landed around the camp. The people were able to catch as many as they needed. Thanks to God, for as long as they would travel through the desert, the people would always have enough to eat. These people really need to learn to trust in God. So many times He came to their aid. Next week, we will learn about Moses still on the travel route, climbing up a big mountain as God told him to do. See you next week. Have a great one. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Cameron and this is Baruch the Uke. And today we're going to be singing This Is the Day. And this is a fun song because there is an echo. And it goes like this. This is the day, and you will echo back, this is the day that the Lord has made. And you will sing, that the Lord has made. We will rejoice, and you'll sing, we will rejoice and be glad in it. And you'll sing, and be glad in it. And then together we will sing, this is the day that the Lord has made. We will rejoice and be glad in it. And then I'm going to sing, this is the day. You will echo back, this is the day. And together we'll sing, that the Lord has made. Let's give it a try. I'll start off pretty slowly, but then I will speed up and we'll see how we go.
Food and water in the desert. During the day, Moses and the freed Hebrew slaves followed the large pillar of cloud that God had provided. At night, this became a pillar of fire. They traveled through the desert toward Mount Sinai, but the people were hungry and started complaining. In Egypt we had plenty of food. Moses, have you brought us into the desert to die of starvation? The Lord said to Moses, I have heard their grumbling. Tell them, at twilight you will eat meat, and in the morning you will be filled with bread. Then you will know that I am the Lord your God. That evening quail came and covered the camp. The people caught and cooked them. In the morning, once the dew was gone, thin flakes like frost appeared on the desert floor. Everyone was puzzled. What is it? They asked. Moses replied, It is the bread the Lord has given you. Gather as much as you need and eat it, but don't store it overnight. They called this food manna. It was white like coriander seed and tasted like wafers made with honey. However, some disobeyed Moses and kept some manna overnight. The next morning it was full of maggots and began to smell. Moses told them to gather what they needed for 6 days of the week, but not on the seventh day, the Sabbath day. On the sixth day, they could gather twice as much and store some of it overnight for the Sabbath day, and it would stay fresh. God provided this manna for them to eat for the next 40 years. The people ran out of water and started complaining to Moses, Why did you bring us up out of Egypt just to die of thirst? They were so angry they threatened to attack Moses. Moses cried out to the Lord, What am I to do with these people? The Lord replied, Take everyone and their leaders and stand by the rock at Horeb. Strike the rock with your staff, and water will come out of it. Moses did this, and water poured out of the rock. Everyone, including all their animals, had water to drink. God had once more provided for their needs.
Jesus loves me, this I know, for the Bible tells me so. Little ones to Him belong. They are weak, but He is strong. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me, the Bible tells me so. Jesus loves me, and I pray He will keep me till that day. Keep me standing true and strong, singing heaven's joyful song. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. Yes, Jesus loves me. The Bible tells me so. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.